Voila, I see it. Symantec's V-Ray automatically detects and protects it, so I don't waste time hunting for machines I didn't know existed, or editing my backup policies when applications move to different VM hosts. The bottom line is, even though it's a virtual environment, it still sits on a physical machine, and I need complete visibility across both. Symantec is a leader in VMware backup, and Symantec V-Ray lets me see clearly across my virtual and physical environments, giving me faster backups, reducing my storage, and providing better protection. Because you can't protect what you can't see.
Symantec V-Ray, the visibility you need, the protection you expect. For Net Backup and Backup Exec.
So V-Ray is actually one of the technologies that we use across both solutions. So when we talked about Backup Exec 2012 and the V-Ray edition and the deduplication capabilities there, it's the same experience in NetBackup. So as you look at this, the patents that we have really enable you to drive down costs in your environment. So earlier, Young talked about within Veritas Storage Foundation, a lot of the compression and the deduplication that's embedded within Veritas Storage Foundation. That's for primary storage volumes, which is a significant benefit. Now, the secondary benefit is what do you do for offline or for the data protection environment? And that's where the deduplication and the V-Ray technology comes into play, because what we can do across physical and virtual servers is very unique. Those are the organizations here in the room that have remote offices. We can deduplicate across each of those remote offices. So if you have 5 different remote offices, all with the same information, you're not going to bring that over your wide area network back to the data center. We're going to understand that, and you're going to have one copy in the data center, but everybody's going to be able to recover what they need to. And so what we can do with this transparency about doing deduplication across physical and virtual is make it very easy for you to transition into private cloud deployments. So as server virtualization is deployed more widely in your environment, you're going to be able to grow that environment. You're going to be able to automatically protect those new applications and new virtual machines that are deployed in your environment, but you're going to be able to look at other private cloud services for managing application deployments, service level agreements, things along those lines that are all part of the private cloud deployment, but you can't sacrifice the service levels that you're delivering in the physical environment to get there, right? Many organizations that I speak with today have either a cloud-first or a virtualization-first application deployment strategy, right? It only goes on a physical server if it can't do either of those things. But that's not today. There's going to be a period of time where you have both physical and virtual, and you need to make that transition for your business to make it easy to deliver the same service levels so that you can deliver those more important business-critical applications in virtual environments. This is an example about what we can actually see with V-Ray. And if you use your goggles, you'll actually see secret images on the slide here that you'll be able to see. But this is one of the things that when we look at and do a virtual machine backup, we are actually understanding all of the information, all of the files within the virtual volumes, so within the VMDK files, right? And what we can do by understanding that is actually deduplicate everything, but also provide you that granular file level recovery so that you don't have to recover the entire virtual machine to then take a look and see which Exchange file or which SQL Server file or SharePoint file you actually need to recover. What our competition sees is actually on the right-hand side. They just see a VMDK file. Now, there are things that other companies can do post-processing to be able to understand what that is. Or if you have to recover, they'll recover an entire virtual machine to a staging area, and then they sift through that virtual machine data and then bring back the individual file that you need. In both cases, they're wasting time and your money. Right? Now, not every company is exactly the same. Not every company deploys applications the same way. And consequently, deduplication shouldn't be deployed the same way for everybody. Using disk-based deduplication after the backups is not the right scenario for everybody. What we've done is we've understood that, and in Backup Exec and Net Backup, you have the choice to decide where you want to deploy deduplication. There are going to be pros about doing source-side or client-side deduplication. A lot of companies will also look at the media server deduplication, and some companies are going to want to do the post-processing or target device deduplication. In all cases, embedded directly within Net Backup and Backup Exec is the ability to deduplicate that data. So if you want to deduplicate across your source, at remote offices, or within each virtual machine, you can absolutely do that. And we've done a number of benchmarks. Excuse me. I tried to cover the microphone, but it clearly did not work. So we've done actually some benchmarks with Cisco UCS, the Unified Computing Systems, as well as VMware and Net Backup. And we have benchmarks that can show you that the media server deduplication can actually significantly scale how many applications and how many virtual machines you can protect to get significant throughput, to the tune of thousands of virtual machines and hundreds of megabytes per second of throughput. So not every company is the same, and I would suggest that you take a look at your architecture. We'd be happy to work with you, and you can choose the correct deployment model for your business. And it might change tomorrow, but that's okay. Our software solutions will actually grow with you, and you can change how you can provide that deduplication capability today and how you may want to provide that 2 to 3 years from now. You have that flexibility because it's embedded directly within the software. And lastly, for those that might not be as familiar with Symantec and Net Backup and Backup Exec, we are the market leader with over 35% of the market. We have a significant presence for the last almost literally 30 years of providing data protection in the IT industry. If you look at the number of Fortune 500 companies that are using our solutions, the number of telcos, financial institutions, healthcare, etc., we have a significant amount of experience in protecting your data in all parts of the globe. And lastly, I mentioned this earlier in terms of being able to scale from the home PC user all the way up to the largest Fortune 500 companies. This is where you, based upon where your companies are, we can grow with you depending upon your solutions. If you're a Windows-only environment, or a VMware-only environment, or if you're a mixed Unix, Windows, Linux environment with hundreds of terabytes or petabytes, or 5 terabytes, we have a solution that can provide your requirements today, but also grow with you as your business grows over the years. So as we take a look at today, a lot of the things that we talked about was how to make better use of your infrastructure and your operations. Making better use of the infrastructure that you have to deliver private clouds with storage management and high availability. And being able to show you that Symantec is the only company today that's able to actually deliver a better backup experience for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shonderington. เป็นยังไงกันบ้างคะหลายท่านวันนี้อาจจะได้รับข้อมูลกันไปแบบเต็มพิกัดเลยนะคะก็จะเห็นได้ว่าโซลูชันต่างๆของทาง Symantec นี้ตอบสนองได้ทุกความต้องการของลูกค้าเลยนะคะไม่ว่าจะเป็นลูกค้าในกลุ่มองค์กรที่เป็นองค์กรขนาดเล็กไปจนถึงองค์กรขนาดใหญ่และเชื่อว่าจะตอบสนองได้ทุกความต้องการจริงๆเลยทีเดียวค่ะเดี๋ยวช่วงนี้เราจะมี Coffee Break ประมาณ15นาทีแล้วกันนะคะเดี๋ยวประมาณสัก15นาทีเราจะกลับมาเจอกันที่นี่นะคะพร้อมกับช่วงหน้าเราจะรับฟังข้อมูลที่เป็นประโยชน์จากผู้สนับสนุนหลักของเราทาง Dell และ VMware ค่ะพลาดไม่ได้เลยนะคะเดี๋ยว15นาทีเจอกันค่ะ